Right then, hello everybody and welcome back to my channel. It's been a really long time. I haven't made a video for ages because I've just been really busy, but I'm making a video about something that I've already spoken about in the past, which is social media. I think it was actually the first video that I made besides the introduction to the channel, but because the way I use it has changed and my experience with it has changed, my views on it have changed as well. Because I've basically cut it out of my life, I don't use any social media really, apart from Instagram, which is for my art account. So I don't use social media in like personal social media to share images of yourself and to share your life with your friends. And as a result I felt some benefits of that, and I just think it's worthwhile sharing because I think us all being more mindful of social media, why we're using it, the effect it's having on us is really important because it's such a big part of a lot of people's lives. So I just wanted to kind of share the benefits that I've felt from massively reducing how I use it in my own life. So the first thing I wanted to speak about was how much more authentic to myself I feel as a result of not using social media. And this is kind of what the whole video is about, because for some reason social media, it adds another level to who we are. Without social media you don't have this image, you know, this online image, this online social presence that you do have when you've got it. You know, if we're all using, I'm going to use Instagram as an example mainly because Instagram has had the biggest effect on my life. It's just a strange concept, and it's all about sharing images with people in order to alter how they perceive you. That's what I think about it anyway, and that was my experience with it when I was using it, and I'm not really embarrassed to admit it because I've addressed the situation, but I was very image conscious on social media. Everything that I was posting was to portray a certain version of myself, and a version of myself of how I wanted other people to recognise me. And, you know, it's not necessarily a really bad thing, because as humans it's natural that we want people to like us. We want people to have a good opinion on us, and that's okay. But the image that we portray on social media is often not a true reflection of who we really are. You know, it adds this other kind of aspect to your life of just constantly, maybe in the back of your mind, maybe very unconsciously, thinking about how other people are seeing it and the image that you're giving off to other people, when it's not really important, and we shouldn't do certain things or dress a certain way or listen to certain music because of how we want to be viewed by others. It should come from within, from what we really want for ourselves. You know, by creating these images and these kind of social media identities that we all have if we use social media, we create categories, you know, we place people into imaginary categories, and it creates this illusion of separateness and this idea that some people are this thing and other people are this thing and we're all separate, and it's just not the case. You know, it's all just imagined in our head, and I hope I'm making sense here. Another reason that I feel a lot more authentic with myself is that I feel like I'm going to use Instagram again because Instagram is literally just about images, just what you're posting. It's about sharing a photo to affect people's view on you. So with social media and Instagram in general, you're looking all the time at the image that other people are portraying. And we feed off these images, we look at them and we might think, oh, I like what that person's got going on there, I'm almost gonna add that to my persona. You know, I like that, that's cool, or that's interesting, and then it feeds into our own persona without us realising a lot. You know, the way I'm talking about this makes it sound as though it's super obvious and that we actively think, oh, I want that, I think that's cool, I'm gonna do that, but it's not like that. It's so like just natural, and we just do it without noticing, I think. So it feeds into our own identity, and this identity is it's just not always true to our authentic self. I think, you know, I was actually speaking with my sister about this, and we were saying, you know, it's good to appreciate others and to appreciate their style, or think that, I don't know, appreciate them. But if you're growing and developing, it should come from within, as opposed to picking out little bits that you like from other people, because it seems less authentic to me. You know, especially because the image of others that we see on social media is not necessarily a true reflection of who they really are. It's the representation that they want to show, and it's often quite an idealised version of a person, almost stylised, in that it's almost crafted to portray a certain message to other people. It's just crazy. But yeah, and when you do that, when you're looking at other people and getting all that social information which is feeding into you, and it's always there, you know, you're scrolling down Instagram for however long, and you're getting all this going into your mind, you're not really listening to yourself. And I know for me, I felt as though I was being very influenced by things I was seeing, and wasn't in tune and really connected to listening to myself, if you know what I mean. And without it, it's a lot easier to connect to yourself and to do what you want to do for you, rather than being influenced by other people, because you see so many less people. You have way less like social information in your brain. So that's the first thing about how much more authentic I feel. The second thing is that I feel a lot more present, because, you know, on a night out, or if you think you look nice, you might take a photo and share it. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but for me, I constantly felt like doing that was taking me out of the moment that I was in. And you might get caught up in it, you might start to overthink it and think, what, am I going to put music on it, and I'm going to put a filter on it, does it fit with the rest of my feed? All these things that we just don't really need to think about, that often cause us to be insecure or to be anxious, and it's just not necessary in our lives, you know? It's taking you out of the moment, and you're thinking about how you want to be perceived. And, you know, it's often not truly raw and authentic to what you're actually experiencing at that time, or how you're actually feeling, or the vibe of the night, or whatever you're sharing, you know? It's just strange. But I think sharing isn't always toxic, you know, but you've got to ask yourself, and I think it's really important to be mindful of your intention behind it. And if you're thinking, because a lot of the time it is about how, you know, controlling the way in which others see us, and that for me is not a healthy habit that I want in my life. But because we do it so much, and pretty much everyone who uses social media does it, we don't realise that we're doing it, and we don't think about it, we just do it. But it's affecting us all the time. So just be mindful of your intention behind it, because I know for me and my experience, when I actually thought and reflected on why I was using social media, it wasn't serving me, it wasn't making me happier, it wasn't making me more content and more confident in myself. It was just making me overthink things, often without realising. But yeah. Third thing, and the last thing, is that without it, I feel, I've written down the word liberated, that sounds quite extreme, but I think with social media, your lives are so much less private, and when you cut it out, you realise, you know, I just feel more connected to my life, which is my life, and I'm not doing anything for anyone else. You know, I'm making decisions, I'm doing things because I want to do them, because it doesn't, you know, no one else is going to know that I'm doing it anyway. No one else is going to know, like if I dress up and I want to put makeup on and look really nice, I'm doing it for me, because no one else, I'm not going to share it, no one else is going to know that I'm doing that. I'm in that moment for me and experiencing it for me, not for any kind of validation or to alter, you know, how other people are seeing me. I've used those words a lot, but I can't really think of a different way to put it. But yeah, another thing about, you know, without it, when you cut social media out of your life, you lose that social media image that you've had, which gives you stability because it affects how people see you. You know, you have yourself, and then you have almost this kind of social media alter ego of how, and it also affects how people view you. But without social media, the only way that people know you and the way they think of you is how they've experienced you and how they've interacted with you in real life. So again, it feels more authentic. You're not in control of it, really. The only way you're in control of it is how you interact with that person. It's not about the image and the ideas that they've got in your head, which they might even have before they've ever met you. You know, you only have who you are. You don't have this kind of false image that you've projected to the world. But yeah, I think that's all I've got to say. I just think I'm just going to end it by saying that I just think social media is just, it's important to be mindful with it and to be aware of why you're using it, how you're using it, and maybe do take a break from it, because I will guarantee you that you will feel great. You will feel amazing. You know, I don't think I'm ever going to go back to using it in the way that I was using it, where I was sharing my life with loads of people. Life just feels more real without it, and more peaceful. I've got so much less going on in my mind. I'm more content. Life is just simpler, basically. It's like, well, what just came into my head was, it's like a big cloud has just left my mind. My mind is just so much more calm and simple and straightforward. So I would really recommend everyone just giving it a go, trying and just thinking about it and being aware, and just questioning yourself, like, why am I doing this? Why am I using this? Is it serving me? Is it making me happy? Or is it just complicating my life and separating me from other people? And separating you from yourself and who you really are. But yeah, I'm going to end it there. Thank you for watching, and yeah, have a great day. Enjoy lockdown.